Okay, hello. So I think I severely underestimated the length of this arc. it is We are halfway through the season and we are still not at the inciting incident. Inciting incident. There we go. It is a long journey, boys. Oh, oh my. I mean, unless Mappa, the studio, is just fucking dragging this, really stretching this shit. Otherwise, this is a very long arc. Now, we've set up a lot of the characterization and we've built up all that stuff for our characters in the first half of this show so far, and we're finally getting into a plot setup instead. Now, we did what we had to do with those characters. Now we're finally like coming along. Now we're still only at like the tip of the iceberg, though. There's still a lot more to come. Um, and yeah, we'll just get right into it. So after last week's episode, we had the cursed head, where Canute is having, he basically killed his brother. Canute, no, he did it. He's a bad boy, very bad boy. And now we're back in this episode, and we get some time frames in this episode, which makes me happy. I like it when we have a instance where we know where our characters are and what they're doing, how long it takes them to get there. I like that. It doesn't have to be like explicitly told, but just through some nice, decent dialogue, we get like little time frames. So it's been about a week. We don't get it right now, but it's been about a week since King Harold's death. Now Canute is now king of both England and Denmark. He is the de facto leader of both of these nations, and he has a lot of problems. But first of all, we get a nice little fight scene at the beginning here, where he's just training with Wolf. This serves two purposes. Purpose number one, he has to do this in order to appease his Viking, or his Viking companion. Oh, they're not companions, just the people, like the little lords in charge of Denmark in the area, because these people, they supply him with like troops, and that's what he needs, and they have to be, he wants them on his side, and he can't do that unless he proves himself a strong warrior. And this is like a whole part of the Viking motif. The Vikings, they like strong leaders that can fight, maybe not necessarily smart like Canute is, and they don't necessarily like the tactics that Canute would employ during battle or just in general. But he understands that he needs to do this, and first of all, he's just really showing off right now. This is also just training for him, so he can understand, he's trying to be better than himself, and Canute's a Billy Badass now, so he wants to get stronger. So just having a little training session here with Wolf, I believe his name is, basically his right hand, or his left hand. Um, his top general, basically, and he's showing his skills off to the other Vikings, so they can be on his side, and that's what the Vikings like. Now Canute is in a bit of trouble. He does win this battle, but out of 1 out of 10, basically, Wolf is just like way above Canute in terms of battle sense and combat ability. But Canute's getting up there, right? So this is basically his right hand. His top advisors coming to him. Now they're having problems. One of their problems are funds. They're running out of money. After 2 years, it was stated 2 years of basically trying to take control of England, or the better half of Mercia as it was called back then. He has run out of money. My man is poor, a king, but a poor king nonetheless. So he's having difficulties. He doesn't. They don't really know what to do. So they're gonna go after, instead of taxing the population of England, because he doesn't want to really upset all of them, because he just like ran through their country, causing mayhem and blood, defeating all the leaders, taxing these people out of nowhere, and getting, not that they're like super rich anyway, they're just peasants, right? But so doing that is bad for politics. So what he's coming up with a different plan, and we're here at the pivotal point of where in the in the future the inciting incident would happen. Canute is taking on this new, it's a established law. I forget what what it's actually called. The law is called here, but what it basically allows Canute to do is take land from people in Denmark and basically usurp that land for himself, even though because he can't, I guess, technically do that because property rights exist in the Viking homeland. but But with this law, he can circumvent that sort of legal mentality, whatever. Yeah, and he can move around it like a snake, like a real politician that Canute is, and take that land for himself and use it for himself. Because Canute still needs troops, right? So his troops are spread thin. Now that he has control of both Mercia and Denmark, even though this is what he wanted, he still needs more troops. He needs funding to hold these troops together, to hold his army together, because he still has more plans. We don't know exactly what those plans entail. We know he has plans. He's got big plans, all right, along with those giant dick of his. And this is what he needs. Obviously, he's gunning for land that is surplus with lots of supplies, any kind of supply, basically anything that can increase his funding. So we're gonna take a little short break from Canute after this. After they're Canute's just establishing what he needs to do right now, and we're gonna go jump back to Master Ketel. Now this is where we get our time frame. It's been 1 week since he left the farm, and it's literally the last episode when he left. Literally right when he left is when King Harold died. So they were on the sea. So it takes about a week to get from King Canute's Master Ketel's place to wherever port they are now, the place where Harold was or was stationed, and he's dead now. Master Ketel's quite sad about this. He's in tight with Harold, very tight. He brings tribute to him a lot. He actually is probably friends with King Harold. Now he brought all this tribute. He didn't really know what to do with it. He brought like a lot of supplies, a lot of his food that he grew on the farm, stuff that Thorfinn probably grew, all the whatever, and farm animals they butchered, all that stuff, probably leather as well and pelts. And now, instead of giving it to Harold, he asks his son here, Thorgal, like, listen, since you're tight with Canute, let me have an audience with him, and he's going to give his tribute to Canute. He's trying to get, he wants to be tight with these bros, playing that politics game. It's all about politics. Even when you're Viking and all you do is rape, pillage, and plunder, you still got to play politics. So, not that Ketel here is, he's not one of those types. His son is, but not him. But he's trying to be friendly with like higher up people so he can increase his station in life. He has his own dreams and aspirations, and this obviously would help him with those goals. Just being tight with these kings. Now, his son's like, okay, yeah, we can do that. First thing I gotta worry about, his other son, Omar, if you remember, the absolute brain dead moron. the most Billy Badass person ever to exist. That is both not a Billy Badass and the most annoying person in the show. Actually. He has run away. He's gone off to do all sorts of debauchery and just being a retard. And he encountered, there he is, our favorite son ever. There he is. He's off, just like causing chaos, trying to act like a real Viking, even though he's weak, he's a pushover, he's a coward. We all know what like his deal is. And he runs into our favorite boy here, Bug Eyes. Oh my god, the other Thorfinn. Do you guys remember him? I bet you don't. Honestly, I can't even remember if he was shown in the first season, the later half of the first season. I don't remember. I think he was. He was there with Leif, if I remember correctly. Anyway, they're traveling together. He bumps into him. He acts all high and mighty. And the absolute moron, after literally picking a fight with this guy, he knows he can, manipulate in every way. He pulls out his fucking sword in the middle of the crowd, trying to, again, just really trying to act tough, even though he's nowhere near that, kind of capability ever at all. And it's even shown in this episode. And that's okay. His father here, Master Ketel. Oh my god! Why did I do that? I forgot. Anyway, Master Ketel comes in. He's like, hey, stop being a retard. Starts yelling at him. He gives money to Leif's son here, Thorfinn. We'll call him Bug Eyes. This is really his real name. He's like, wow, that's a lot of money just for like ruining two pieces of fabric or two bundles of carpet on the floor. And Leif comes in. He's like, oh, stop it. Give him some money back because, you can't. You're taking too much. At heart, Leif is and obviously here, Leif is based off Leif Erikson. And I believe the time frame between, these characters are like way off, like over hundreds of years. But anyway, he's a tradesman. He's a merchant by trade. He sells goods, and in the meantime, after selling goods, he's also looking for Thorfinn. This is where we're coming into like the plot, where in Leaf and Bug Eyes are going to be part of this event. They well, not like part of the fighting, but they're going to be they're you know, obviously all of our people are going to reunite at the end, right? Just a little spoiler for all you guys. Just a little spoiler. And there we'll have a whole happy ending, maybe, kind of, not really. Um, Anyway, the point is they're asking Keto. The thing comes up. Obviously, Leaf is still looking for Thorfinn. It's like, hey, we've been looking for this slave with blonde hair, brown eyes. He's got scars, kind of short. And Mescu's like, we kind of have a guy like that on our island. Just like, what a coincidence! Wow, what a coinkydinky! Everybody finding each other at the exact time that they need to be found. Great. It's all part of. It's almost like this was part of the plan. And she's like, oh wow, maybe we can hitch a ride with you guys when you leave. And Keto's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. They're basically friends now and chums. Keto, let me remind you, Keto is a nice guy. he is not an asshole. He is friendly with people. He is very social. He doesn't like to rough around feathers too much. His son is a moron, and his other son is a homicidal psychopath. But he himself, he's a nice guy. He just wants to farm and make money. He's like, yeah, come with us. If even though to Master Keto, Thorfinn's being freed anyway, and he likes Thorfinn and Einar. So this doesn't, he's like, yeah, of course, come with us. So Leaf goes to his compatriots here, people that are taking him. Not sure like exactly what they are, chauffeurs probably, but Leif comes and is like, hey, we can go to this island, take around 5 days if there's good weather. He's like, 5 days? That's gonna like put us literally off track for 10 days where we really need to be. We gotta go somewhere else. Leif is like, don't worry, I'll pay you. I'm sure. And they've been apparently with Leif for a long time, searching for Thorfinn, even though they've been doing like other merchant stuff on the side. But Leif's been like tagging along with them, I guess. And they're kind of sick of his shit because he's been searching for like 3 to 2 years, and he still hasn't found him. Like, listen, maybe he's dead, maybe he's just gone, maybe you'll never find him. Like, no, listen, we can go to this island, don't worry. We're gonna cut back off of that. We don't get a real resolution to that side of the story yet. Anyway, Master Keto's son totally like pulled through. He was like, yeah, I asked King Canute. He's like, yeah, we'll have an audience. And he's like, wow, it's kind of crazy how he would do that. The king is incredibly busy doing tons of shit, but Mr. Keto's super happy about it. He's like, oh, this is great. I get to meet the king. Obviously, this is crazy for him, right? Or the new king. And he brought all of his sons together. This one he should not have brought. Oh no, you ruined everything. You are a loser. Oh man. So he comes, prostrates himself before Canute. Canute is kind of apathetic really to them, but he's impressed by their goods. Really, what we all know what Canute's after. He's after their land. Now, he's like, yeah, so he's gonna accept his gifts. It's gonna be, everyone's having a great time until Almar, the retard, the absolute buffoon, stands up, draws his sword in front of Canute. Is like, listen, make me a thane. I believe a thane is sort of like an apprentice or like a squire back in the medieval era, but maybe a higher position. A thane, I think, specifically relates to being part of like the king's escort of some kind. I'm not too particularly sure about the details of that, but maybe some sort of, similar. The point is he wants to be a, armed force in his guard, or just in the army in general. He wants to go out to fight. Obviously we know that Omar is a piece of shit nobody and cannot do that, and he wants to show his skills. Canute's like, everyone else is like, you need to calm down, Omar. Canute's like, all right, go ahead, show me what you can do. And Wolf brings out this stock pig. They're like, okay, cut this in half, let's see what you got. Omar takes all his strength, all his focus, and he can't do it. He's an absolute weak pussy. He can't even cut a pig with his super sharp Super Viking blade. Look at that! Oh my god, how can you not cut that? He is absolutely embarrassing. Terribly. How tragic. You see Keto in the background literally crying. Like, oh my god, my son's a fucking moron. And his brother is like, wow, you are very bad, yes. So they, after this embarrassing trial for Omar, they're like, okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Basically, get the fuck out. Yeah. And his brother, the homicidal maniac, is just like, no mercy at all. Just like, wow, you really just fucked all that up, didn't you? Doesn't hold back at all. Pretty hilarious. Obviously, Omar is like super embarrassed and just like crying. He's like, "Listen, brother, you kind of suck, but what's done is done." We just, well, maybe we'll fix it somehow. Try not to screw anything else up, right? Just what an absolute. This is all his fault. All this, the precursor is about to happen is, all everything is his fault essentially, and things aren't looking good for Omar here, just as a person in general. So go back to Canute. It's about nighttime. Canute's having a discussion, and they're like, yeah, that kid's definitely gonna die if we bring him to the army, no questions about it. And he asks him like, even though he asks Wolf, like, what do you think, Wolf? Is he useful? And Wolf, the straightest face ever, is like, yes, he's absolutely useful. He's a fool, a typical Nordic fool who will do anything we say. Canute is going to use Omar to bring his plans in fruition. He is going to use him to basically get the farm that Keto has. Canute's plan in action. We're still only at the tip of the iceberg, but finally we're getting our set up for the plot is finally like pushing forward. Now this is I believe maybe next episode, even the one after that, is probably where the event is going to occur. Canute's going to be using Omar for his nefarious purposes. He needs these things. Master Keto has them, and we're finally going to get into some crisp action. I know a lot of people have been clamoring for that from Vindland Saga. I just really hope people remember this season. Everything, after season 1 is completely different. Just in a lot of aspects, even just philosophy and characters. Obviously, we've been seeing that through these past 11 episodes, and things have been finally starting to ramp up a little bit. Now, I like this episode. We finally got some more plot, other than just character setup, and we're finally getting into it. Now, as an episode, it's still kind of standard in terms of animation. The music also didn't hit very hard in this episode, but there wasn't like anything truly dramatic for the music to really capitalize on in these like scenes. So that's okay. Still, again, it's just another setup episode, but we're coming real close. We had some like good fight scenes between Wolf and Canute. People wanted their like get horny off of they're really clamoring for that battle, jerking off to that King Canute here. And basically it. It was a solid episode. I'm ready for the next one. I can't wait, man. Alright, you guys, I'm done rambling. Hope you guys have a nice day. See ya.